Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my Monday Night Raw in Memphis, Tennessee, of the home of great Elvis Presley. Now, I actually like Elvis music. It never was bad. My mom always liked Elvis, but she always liked rhythm and blues and a lot of jazz and stuff like that from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Mom was pretty old when I was born. But anyway, the reason I kind of wandered off on this was the way they did this was not bad at all. It was a pretty good show. They're really trying to build something interesting going into WrestleMania. But I kind of felt like they kind of drifted off a little bit. Just a little. But not much. But I do have to say, one person in this Raw finally showed their true colors. And I will be getting to that last. The opening of the show with Hulk Hogan. Sorry, I had to do it. I love me some Hulk Hogan, baby. When you hear about him talking about Andre the Giant and the Andre the Giant Memorial Over the Top Rope Battle Royal and the Andre the Giant Memorial's trophy, which is not bad at all. I've always loved Andre the Giant. The trophy actually looks like Andre when he was in the early 80s. Not the mid to late 80s when he really, I think maybe the late 70s, early 80s. He was still in good shape. But he was getting big. I think this might have been around WrestleMania 1. Maybe WrestleMania, I'd say WrestleMania 1. Or before WrestleMania. Say 1982, 1983. Maybe 1984. I'm just being honest about how the statue looked. But it looked nice. I'm glad they're doing something for Andre. I always loved him. And hearing there's a 30-man over-the-top rope battle royal for that at WrestleMania makes it very interesting. Now, I have to take a little offense to the fans that was in Memphis, Tennessee. Look, you don't like John Cena. Fine, I understand that. And I'm saying this to fans of the internet, the YWC, baby. I know a lot of people don't like John Cena because he gets such a great rub. I understand that. But the way the crowd was booing in Memphis because he was imitating the guy who was his idol. I'm going to give it to you like this, folks. Every wrestling fan that becomes a wrestler still stays a wrestling fan to a certain extent. And I know people don't like John Cena. But come on, the guy basically was doing something, imitating his fucking idol less than 5 feet away from him. And that's something many people would dream of doing. I'm going to defend him only on that respect. Okay? That's just me. If I was a wrestler and Hulk Hogan was in the ring and he was one of the reasons I love wrestling, fuck yeah, I imitate him. What you gonna do, brother, when you see me with my 24-inch pythons going wild on you and all my wrestling fans, all my Hulkamaniacs are going to go and beat the living daylights out of you in the ring. Come on. That's the truth. That's how we are. But I'm going to say this about the segment after that, when it came to Bray Wyatt and John Cena. I've already said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I'm not comfortable with John Cena working with Bray Wyatt too long. I'm very scared. Yes, if we get John Cena versus Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, I'm alright with it. But I'm hoping they'll split them off within a couple of weeks after it's over. If you have him around him too long, you'll end up messing up his character. Look at Ryback. Yes, Ryback was a better monster face than he was a heel. Yes, I know. But if Ryback had stayed away from John Cena to a certain extent, he would still be a pretty sucky heel, but at least he would be still a viable one that could be turned back into a face. He's not even a viable heel anymore. He's just a joke. And it's shameful to see. And that's the reason why I'm scared about John Cena dealing with Bray Wyatt. I just want them to do it briefly. Get this month over quickly. Then break them off after a week or two after WrestleMania. And since I talked about Ryback, I'm just going to get to the first match that I enjoyed. Well, I might as well just get the Eric and John Cena, very fast, John Cena wins. I'm just getting that over with. Now, the Usos versus... I feel sorry for Curtis Axel. Because he had a good push and then it just got dropped. They had a chance to do something better than perfect. There was a possibility, but they just dropped it. Now seeing him job out so badly with Ryback, it's just sad to see. The New Age Outlaws there wasn't that bad. The Usos, I am beyond happy they have the championship, but why the fuck couldn't you give them a WrestleMania moment? Why, WWE? You think all the stuff you're going to have on the card in WrestleMania 30 wouldn't fit them? That wouldn't give them the opportunity to win? You can give them a 7-minute match, and it will still give such a huge pop to the fans. In Louisiana, in New Orleans, come on! They had an opportunity and they just blew it. You want to make a bet the Usos are going to be on the kickoff show? And that's just going to be sad. Unless they're going to be on the show, at least they'll get a WrestleMania, somewhat of a WrestleMania moment. But the Usos win, and we move on with the feud with the New Age Outlaws. Now, the match I really didn't care about at all. The Rhodes Brothers versus The Shield. I am not happy seeing Kane. Put Kane to bed. The corporate Kane is boring to me personally. Give me a reason why to care, because I really need one. Because I don't care about Kane in this position. He's absolutely boring to me. I loved Kane when he was the big red monster. You could do something different with him. He could join the Wyatts and give them more validation. But they never did that. They had him as a corporate crony. And they didn't really make him more substantial, more dangerous. They made him like a pussy. And even though he has tried to put a fire under the Shield, it just doesn't feel right. He jobbed. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, my batteries died. Happens with cameras. What I was saying about Kane simply, you know, I just don't like him being this character. He deserves better. You can tell me below if you believe he deserves a better character. Should he go back to the way he was or stay as he is? The match, really, I wasn't interested in. And the person I felt that is getting the shaft more than anybody is Cody Rhodes. Cody really should be doing something more than this. But he's still stuck in, basically, tag team hell like Kofi Kingston was. In the end, the Shield win. Roman Reigns looked alright. Seth Rollins, and I know the internet's going crazy about Seth Rollins, the way he's running around and jumping around like a Jeff Hardy. Which is nothing wrong with it. But in this case, I was thinking a while ago, shouldn't they be splitting up already? You just had Seth Rollins walk off before. And then Dean Ambrose was having a problem. And now you bring them back together for what? What does this lead to? I'm kind of confused. Now, the next match I really didn't care that much about. The Bellas versus Tamina and AJ. Nikki Bella wins. And now Natalya, I believe she's already challenged for the belt. I don't know if she won or not. This just is boring to me. The person I believe should have been given this opportunity and probably would have gotten the opportunity was Naomi. That's just me. You guys can tell me below. I know Naomi is still hurt because of the fracture in her eye socket due to... Oh, I still love Oksana. She's a good-looking woman, but fuck you, you messed up my girl. Sorry, that had to come out. But I think Naomi was the one that was slated for this, and now she's not going to get it until she's better. I'm really hoping she heals up enough that she can go into WrestleMania, but I don't see that happening. I hope I'm wrong. So, the next match that I really didn't care about at all, but they did give a good effort. Sheamus versus Christian. Now, the crowd was urged to choose the fight they were going to do. And in the end, the WWE Universe chose the Memphis Street fight. This reminds me of Damien Sandow and Dolph Ziggler, where they had nothing for them to do, so they started giving them these extreme fights, a street fight, a hardcore fight or something like that. I have a feeling this is going to happen with Christian and Sheamus for the next couple of weeks. They're going to give them really hardcore matches. So they have something to do. Does that interest me? No. I already said what would be interesting me. Ireland versus Canada. Say you stupid fucking Canadian, you don't have to curse, but say you stupid Canadian, you Canadian folk don't know nothing, eh? And then you Irishmen Who the hell do you think you are? Why don't you go and drink your potatoes in the backyard and get drunk? Piss the people off. Look what happened with Finlay when he first came in WCW. When he worked with William Regal back, I think, in 1996. William Regal beat the shit out of got that in reverse. I am dyslexic. A Finlay beat the shit out of William Regal, saying that your people put me down for centuries. This is fucking payback. Do that, ladies and gentlemen. Give us something interesting. Being politically correct all the time doesn't give interesting TV. You don't need the titles to make something interesting. And I believe that could make this feud interesting. Canada versus Ireland. Why not? Most of the people in Canada are French or British. Why not do it? And American. But that's just me. Now, Scooby-Doo cartoon for the WWE. I'm just going to talk briefly on this because I may do a debate of the week on this. But really, it's good to see Scooby-Doo again. Bring it! Scooby-Dooby-Doo! What the fuck? But it's still funny. That's just me. Now, moving on to something serious, something profound, something hopefully good. A gorgeous woman walks out. I'm painting a picture. A gorgeous woman walks out to the ring. Well, out to the open. And speaks in, I believe, Bulgarian, maybe? And speaks about Alexander Rusev. With those thick-ass legs. She looked good. Tell me below who she is because I had a chance to check her out. But Alexander Rusev is looking good. They look like they're going to bring him in very strong. That guy looks like an early Bruno Sammartino. He's going like... Bruno Sammartino back in the 60s didn't have super cut abs. He was just a big, thick guy. And he really looks like a Bruno. I'm really interested in seeing him. The people I remember the most as a kid mainly was a Mr. Bob Backlund, but a Bruno Sammartino was the second person I could easily remember. I'm really interested in seeing this. So, let's get to the last few things that need to be talked about. The Undertaker segment. I really enjoyed it. Seeing The Undertaker come back is great. Seeing him dealing with a Paul Heyman who's speaking very well. And I do agree with the Sleg Daddy. I also do believe that next to Paul Heyman last week trying to twist the crowd's own chants to his own favor, I do also believe that Paul Heyman was upset. Like I said, sometimes you can get across how you really feel while you're doing a work. I do believe that Paul Heyman was very upset that CM Punk left, either because that was his friend or he felt like he got really... Why did he go? So that's my feeling about it. But he really spoke so well. I really loved and believed what Paul Heyman said. It makes me more interested in seeing Brock Lesnar versus a Undertaker. This is going to be good, I hope. I'm hoping Brock Lesnar is up to this. He has not been in a ring often. I'm hoping he's still not like a Batista. And this leads me into Batista with Randy Orton, Big Show, and Daniel Bryan. Batista still gets tanked. I'm sorry, he just does. I just don't feel like this is good. One of the reasons I believe Daniel Bryan is doing a possible triple threat is because... this irks me for the simple fact that if Batista had came back months ahead of time, more than just a month and a half or two, 3 or 4 months ahead of time, in December, would have been better for him to come back instead of January or February. I think he came back January 20th. He should have came back in December or early December. He should have came back. That would have gave him more time to get in shape for WrestleMania. He just doesn't look right. And I still say that if he had combined a little bit of MMA in his matches, he would look really good. But in the end, Daniel Bryan gets the pin over Randy Orton. It's not a bad thing. I am still interested in seeing the match and seeing what's going to happen with Daniel Bryan. And finally, if I'm not forgetting anything, I don't believe I am, If I am, you guys can tell me below. I've had a lot on my mind lately, so if I'm missing something, I'm very sorry. The occupation of Raw. Now, I said in the beginning of this review, next to my batteries dying, that one person finally showed their colors. And that is Stephanie McMahon. And I said this so many months ahead of time that Stephanie may be pulling the strings on everything that happened the last 6 to 8 months. The way she screamed out saying, this is my company. My great-grandfather, which actually he ran a bar. Her grandfather is the one who ran the boxing business. And then her father went from the boxing business into the wrestling business. So I don't know where she got her great-grandfather who ran a business, a bar on 34th Street. Honestly, he ran a bar on 34th Street where I live in New York. So he wasn't 100% involved in the business. But in the end, she did have a lot of legitimacy. I did enjoy what she spoke about. And seeing that WrestleMania now will have a Daniel Bryan versus a Triple H really fills me with some hope that Daniel Bryan is going to do a little more with himself. And this also shows they're going to try and expand the main event scene because you got to get more people in there. If they're willing to do this for Daniel Bryan, maybe they'll do this for Antonio Fazzato. Maybe they will be doing this for maybe a Biggie Langston eventually. This gives me a lot of confidence that the WWE at least at this moment realize they need to expand. So I hope you enjoyed this review of Raw. This wasn't a bad Raw. It still kind of felt a little bit like it veered a little bit to the left. But it wasn't bad. So I hope you liked this video. Give me a comment. And I'm sorry the batteries died. It just happens. See ya!